chosen one. People are angry that you're moving in silence, furious that you won't explain yourself. The audacity of you choosing peace over proving your worth has them spiraling. You used to give them access to your thoughts, your plans, your emotions, but the moment you went quiet, something shifted. Now they're pacing floors, stalking pages, asking mutuals what you're doing, where you are, who you're with. Your silence became their torment. When you stopped explaining, you started expanding. You activated divine protection that hides you in plain sight. While they rage and speculate, your next chapter is building in secret. Keep moving quietly. Your silence is strategy, and the noise they're making is proof it's working. When you were still talking, still explaining, still defending your every move, you were feeding an energetic system. Every justification you gave was like making a payment on a debt you never owed. Every time you sought approval, you renewed a lease on property that was never theirs to claim. Every time you explained your decisions, you handed over access codes to your destiny. You thought you were just communicating, but in the unseen realm, you were participating in a spiritual contract that kept you small and others in control. But something shifted the day you went silent. You did not just stop talking, you broke the contract. And here is what nobody told you about breaking spiritual contracts. When you sever an agreement in the unseen realm, everything that was being held back by that agreement is suddenly released. Everything that was delayed because of that contract is suddenly fast-tracked. Everything that was blocked because of that connection is suddenly available. Your silence was not passive withdrawal. Your silence was an aggressive act of spiritual warfare that declared you no longer consent to false authority over your life, and now the effects are visible. The person who betrayed you is experiencing betrayal from someone trusted completely. The person who lied about you is being exposed for lies that seemed buried forever. The person who tried to block your opportunities is hitting walls everywhere. Movement is attempted. The person who gossiped about your struggles is facing public humiliation. This is not you cursing anyone. This is not you getting revenge. This is the mirror of karma reflecting everything that was sent your way. And your silence is the reason acceleration is happening at this pace. Two distinct energies are trying to reconnect with you, and one of them knows something you do not know yet. One has heard whispers about what is coming your way. One has seen signs that a major blessing is about to hit your life. One is panicking because the realization has hit that your silence positioned you for something beyond reach, and desperation is building to get back in before manifestation occurs, so benefit can be extracted or sabotage can be executed. The first energy comes disguised as concern. This is the person who reaches out, acting worried about you. Are you okay? I have been thinking about you. We should talk. But underneath this mask of false compassion is helicopter surveillance. This person does not miss you. This person misses having access to your information. Your plans used to be known before execution occurred. Doubt used to be inserted before moves were made. Progress used to be monitored, so interference could happen at strategic moments. Your silence cut off the intelligence flow, and now operations are happening blind. That situation terrifies the person experiencing it. But there is a second energy that is far more dangerous. This one does not even pretend to care. This is pure envy wrapped in civility. This is the sibling who always competed with you. This is the cousin who measured worth against your failures. This is the former friend who celebrated your struggles more than your successes. This person has been watching you rise in silence, and the observation has been destroying them internally. Hope existed that you would stumble so superiority could be felt again. But instead you kept climbing, and now the sensing that something big is about to happen has triggered full panic mode. Both are about to collide in your life at the same time. One is going to come with fake concern and emotional manipulation. The other is going to come with a false apology and strategic positioning. And both are going to seem sincere enough to make you question your boundaries. This is the test. This is the moment where the universe is asking if you have really learned the lesson, or if you are going to repeat old patterns. But before arrival happens, before moves are made, you need to understand why the return is really occurring. Something is happening behind the scenes that has both energies activated. Movement is occurring in the legal realm. Paperwork is being processed. An inheritance that was left for you is moving through channels. A financial windfall connected to something you did in the past is about to mature. An opportunity that has your name on it is somehow known about, and the closer manifestation gets, the more desperate everyone becomes. This is why your intuition has been screaming lately. This is why you have been feeling energetic attacks you cannot explain. This is why certain names keep coming up even though cutting off occurred. Energy is being sent toward you, trying to create an opening. Rituals are being done, conversations are being had, plans are being made, and every single attempt is backfiring because you are covered by a protection that cannot be penetrated. Your silence activated a shield that operates automatically. You do not even have to think about it. As long as you remain silent and refuse to engage, the shield stays up and everything sent bounces back and hits the sender instead. Now let me tell you about the third person nobody talks about. Someone exists in the background who watched everything that happened to you and said nothing. This is the passive observer who saw mistreatment occurring and stayed silent. This is the authority figure who could have intervened but chose comfort over courage. This is the family member who knew the truth but played neutral to avoid conflict. And right now, this person is receiving karma that is equal to the person who actively caused harm. The universe does not distinguish between the hand that strikes and the hand that holds the victim down. Complicity carries the same spiritual weight as active participation. This silent observer is experiencing stagnation that mirrors the stagnation allowed in your life. Blocks are being hit that reflect the blocks you faced without help. Feeling trapped in situations is happening that mirrors the traps you struggled in without intervention. And understanding cannot occur about why life suddenly stopped moving forward. This passive person is the one who is going to try to bring everyone back together. The role of peacemaker is going to be played. The suggestion that enough time has passed is going to be made. The push for reconciliation is going to happen, because your continued absence is a constant reminder of failure to protect you. Your silence is exposing cowardice, your boundaries are highlighting complicity, and living with that guilt is unbearable, so forcing resolution is going to be attempted, so feeling better becomes possible. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. This is not just about you stopping communication with them. Your silence exposed the entire game being played. When you were still explaining yourself, words could be twisted. What you said could be taken and reshaped to fit a preferred narrative. Your explanations could be used as evidence that you were confused, uncertain, or wrong. Your words gave ammunition. Your justifications gave power. Your explanations gave control. But silence cannot be twisted. Silence cannot be misquoted. Silence cannot be used against you. When you went silent, you took away the primary weapon. Words can no longer be manipulated because you are not giving any words to manipulate. Gaslighting about what you said cannot happen because you are not saying anything. You cannot be painted as dramatic or emotional because you are not giving any emotional reactions to weaponize. This is why fury exists. Your silence turned you into a mirror. Now when you are looked at, only reflection appears, only behavior is visible, only toxicity bouncing back appears with nothing to absorb it. You used to be the sponge that soaked up negativity. You used to be the buffer that softened karma. You used to be the explanation point that made chaos seem reasonable. But now you are gone, and being left alone with the consequences of true character is the new reality. And here is something most people miss about why silence triggers such rage in toxic people. Your silence is proof that you do not need them. Think about what that means to someone who built an entire sense of worth on having power over you. Think about what that does to someone who measured value by the ability to control your emotions. Think about what that represents to someone who felt superior because making you explain and defend yourself was possible. Your silence is a declaration of independence that shatters an entire worldview. The fact that you are thriving without input cannot be handled. The reality that you are making decisions without approval cannot be processed. The truth that you are building a life without involvement cannot be accepted. Your silence is living proof that importance was never as great as you were convinced it was. Your silence is evidence that opinions were never as valuable as you were made to believe. Your silence is confirmation that presence was never as necessary as manipulation made you think. This is the real source of rage, not that you are silent, but that your silence is working. You are not falling apart without them. You are not lost without guidance from them. You are not struggling without wisdom from them. In fact, you are doing better. You are thinking clearer. You are moving smarter. You are building stronger. And observation of this is possible, even from a distance. Sensing this is possible, even through your absence. And the destruction of the narrative about who you are and who they are is occurring. Conversations are being replayed, looking for where control was lost. Your last interactions are being analyzed, searching for signs that were missed. Explanations are being created in minds for why you cut them off, that make them the victim and you the villain. Stories are being told to anyone who will listen about how you changed, how you became cold, how you abandoned them. Working overtime to rewrite history is happening because the truth makes them look exactly like what they are. And here is what makes your silence so brilliant. You are letting exhaustion occur from personal narratives. You are allowing exposure to happen to others through obsession with you. You are giving enough rope for self-destruction to occur with personal words. Because while busy telling everyone how wrong you are for going silent, revealing to everyone how right you were to do it is actually happening. The anger is the confession. The obsession is the evidence. The inability to move on is the proof that you made the right decision. Watch what happens when talk about you occurs with mutual people. Watch how your name cannot help but be brought up. Watch how painting self as the reasonable one happens while simultaneously showing everyone how unreasonable behavior truly is. Watch how claims of being over it happen while proving anything but being over it exists. Your silence is making a hand be shown to everyone watching, and the people who have discernment are seeing exactly what you saw that made you walk away in the first place. But there is another layer to anger that you need to understand. Your silence is not just affecting people personally. Your silence is affecting people practically. Benefits were being received from having access to you. Maybe your connections were being used to advance personally. Maybe your resources were being used to support you personally. Maybe your ideas were being used to build personally. Maybe your energy was being used to fuel personally. Your silence cut off all of that. Now operating on personal merit has to happen, and the realization that not as much exists as was thought is occurring. This is why panic about finances exists for some. This is why scrambling with opportunities is happening for some. This is why struggling with decisions is occurring for some. You were being used as a resource, and realization did not occur until the resource was gone. Your insight was guiding choices. Your energy was carrying ambitions. Your network was opening doors. And now that you are silent, now that you are gone, discovery is happening that what seemed like personal strength was actually borrowed from you. The anger you are seeing is also shame in disguise. Deep down knowledge exists that you should have been treated better. Deep down knowledge exists that you were taken for granted. Deep down knowledge exists that someone valuable was lost because of personal behavior. But shame is uncomfortable, so conversion into anger happens. Being mad at you for leaving is easier than being honest about why you left. Blaming you for going silent is easier than acknowledging what drove you to silence in the first place. Your silence is forcing confrontation with questions that no one wants to answer. Why did this person who used to explain everything suddenly stop explaining anything? What was done that made someone who used to seek approval completely stop caring about opinion? How was access lost to someone who used to give unlimited access? These questions terrify because the answers indict, so instead of sitting with those questions and doing the inner work to grow, anger happens. You become the problem. Narratives get created where your silence is the issue instead of behavior being the issue. Convincing self and others that you are being petty, immature, unforgiving or cold occurs. Projection onto you happens of all the qualities refused to be seen in self. And in doing so, even more confirmation gets given to you that going silent was the wisest decision you ever made. This is the anger that comes from people who feel entitled to your life updates. These are the people who believe that because knowing you before happened, permanent rights exist to know you now. Anger exists because the belief is that your silence is withholding something that belongs to them. Acting like you are being secretive happens when really you are just being selective. Your privacy gets treated like a personal attack on them. This entitlement is rooted in the belief that you exist for consumption. The thought is that your life is a show with front row seats assigned. The thought is that your decisions are up for debate. The thought is that your journey is subject to commentary. Your silence disrupts this entire framework. Your silence says my life is not your entertainment. Your silence says my choices are not your business. Your silence says my path is not your playground. And that rejection of assumed authority over you makes fury absolute. There is also a specific anger coming from people who cannot stand that you are winning without them. These are the people who convinced themselves that you needed them to succeed. Telling self that without advice you would fail occurred. Belief that without support you would fall existed. Expectation that without involvement you would struggle was held. But here you are thriving in silence. Here you are succeeding without explanation. Here you are building without input. And the shattering of every story told about personal importance in your life is occurring. This anger often shows up as dismissiveness. Downplaying your achievements will happen. Questioning your success will occur. Predicting your failure will be voiced. Waiting for you to mess up so saying I knew it becomes possible will happen. This is not concern. This is not honesty. This is not care. This is the anger of someone who cannot handle watching you prove that you never needed them, the way convincing occurred that you did. And then there is the anger that comes from people who know wrongdoing occurred and cannot handle that you are not giving the chance to feel better about it. These people want to apologize, not because change happened, but because relief from the guilt of knowing hurt was caused is desired. Your silence denies that relief. Your silence says I am not available to make you feel better about what you did to me. Your silence says you do not get to clear your conscience at my expense. And this makes fury occur because absolution is wanted more than your healing is wanted. Watch how this type of person frames anger. Saying you are holding grudges will happen. Saying you are not allowing growth will occur. Saying you are stuck in the past will be voiced. Making your boundary sound like your problem will be attempted. But what is really being said is why will you not let me off the hook? What is really being asked is why will you not make this easier for me? What is really being expressed through anger is that you chose your peace over their comfort. Anger is actually confirmation that your silence is working exactly as it should. If your silence was not powerful, being so affected would not occur. If your absence was not impactful, being so bothered would not happen. If your refusal to explain was not significant, being so obsessed would not exist. The intensity of anger is directly proportional to the effectiveness of your boundary. This is why you must not mistake anger for evidence that you did something wrong. Anger is evidence that you did something right. You set a boundary that actually works. You created a distance that actually protects. You established a standard that actually holds. Weak boundaries do not make toxic people angry. Effective boundaries do. Your silence is not the problem. Your silence is the solution working exactly as intended. Now let me address something you might be feeling. Temptation to break your silence just to calm anger might exist. Thinking that if you just explain one more time, understanding will happen and leaving you alone will occur might be present. Believing that if you just give one conversation, closure will be provided and moving on will happen might exist. This is a trap. Do not fall for it. Look, you already know the attacks weren't random, and if you're paying attention, you can feel it. Their walls are closing in, so let's talk about what we're doing about it. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve cooperative intelligence. The beauty is you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play, and your subconscious is rewired, while your enemies collapse under the weight of their own lies. This is why I created it in the beginning, so everything they did to break you becomes fuel for your purpose. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your destiny engine for $1 today and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. Breaking your silence to manage anger is like feeding a wild animal to stop aggressive behavior. The animal does not become less dangerous. The animal just learns that aggression gets it what it wants. The moment you break your silence to calm anger, training occurs that getting angry at your boundaries will cause you to lower your boundaries. Teaching happens that if enough pressure is applied, you will crack. Showing happens that your silence is not really a boundary, but a negotiation tactic. The people who respect your silence do not get angry about it. The people who honor your boundaries do not rage against them. The people who truly care about you do not need explanations to leave you alone. Anger is the evidence that respect does not exist. Obsession is the proof that honor does not exist. Demands for explanation are the confirmation that true care does not exist. And none of that changes just because you break your silence to address it. Whatever you say will be taken and used as an opening. Your words will be twisted into evidence that you still care what is thought. Your response will be interpreted as a sign that the boundary is negotiable. Your explanation will be seen as weakness to exploit. And within a short time you will be right back where you started. Except now knowledge exists that enough pressure will make you crack. Your silence is not cruelty. Your silence is self-preservation. Your silence is not punishment. Your silence is protection. Your silence is not immaturity. Your silence is mastery. You have mastered the art of not explaining yourself to people who already decided what to think about you. You have mastered the discipline of not defending yourself to people who are determined to see you as wrong. You have mastered the wisdom of not wasting energy on people who have proven lack of deserving access to your energy. Every day you stay silent, you get stronger. Every day you refuse to engage, your boundary gets firmer. Every day you honor your decision, your conviction gets deeper. Your silence is not static. Your silence is building something. Every moment you do not explain yourself is another brick in the fortress of your peace. Every instance you refuse to engage is another layer of protection around your purpose. Every time you choose silence over satisfying curiosity, you invest in your own freedom. The anger felt today will eventually transform into acceptance, or it will not. Either way, it stops being your concern. Some will eventually realize that you are serious, and moving on will occur. Some will never accept it, and staying angry forever will happen. Neither outcome requires your participation. Neither result needs your explanation. Neither scenario deserves your energy. Your job is not to manage emotions about your boundaries. Your job is to maintain your boundaries regardless of emotions. This is the level of mastery you have reached. You no longer need people to understand your decisions to be confident in your decisions. You no longer need people to approve of your path to walk your path. You no longer need people to validate your choices to know your choices are valid. This is what it looks like when someone truly steps into personal power. This is what it sounds like when someone truly trusts intuition. This is what it feels like when someone truly owns sovereignty. You are going to wake up soon and realize thinking about these people has not occurred in a long time. You are going to check your accounts and see numbers that used to seem impossible. You are going to receive invitations to rooms you used to dream about entering. You are going to connect with people who actually celebrate your wins. You are going to build things that last. You are going to create impact that matters. You are going to walk in authority that cannot be questioned. And you are going to do all of it in silence until it is so undeniable that words become unnecessary. The people who demanded explanations will have no choice but to watch your elevation explain itself. The people who questioned your decisions will have to admit your discernment was accurate. The people who doubted your path will have to acknowledge your destination was divine. Your silence will be vindicated not by your words but by your reality. And that is a level of victory that can never be taken from you. So here is what you do with this information. Take it as confirmation that everything you have been feeling is accurate. Take it as validation that your decision to move in silence was divinely inspired. Take it as encouragement that you are closer to breakthrough than you realize, and take it as a warning to not break now when you are so close to breakthrough. When arrival happens with tears, remember the times no empathy existed for yours. When arrival happens with apologies, remember the times no remorse existed for actions. When arrival happens with promises, remember the times every commitment was broken. When arrival happens with explanations, remember that you do not owe the same. Your silence is not rudeness. Your silence is self-respect. And the fact that it makes discomfort occur is proof that what was best for you was never truly wanted in the first place. You are not the same person who used to explain self to unqualified judges. You are not the same person who sought approval from people who never approved of themselves. You are not the same person who needed validation from those who could not even validate personal existence. You evolved. You transformed. You elevated. And your silence is the evidence of growth that cannot be comprehended, because being stuck in the same patterns that caused you to walk away is still the reality for them. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your time. The anger felt about your silence is actually fear disguised as frustration. Fear exists about what you are becoming. Fear exists about what you are building. Fear exists about where you are going. And fear should exist because the version of you that is emerging from this season of silence is unstoppable, unshakable, and completely unavailable for the dysfunction that resurrection is desired for. So let anger exist, let confusion exist, let obsession with what you are doing exist. While focus on you occurs, you stay focused on your purpose. While attempts to decode your silence happen, you keep building in secret. While waiting for you to break occurs, you keep getting stronger. Your silence is not weakness, your silence is warfare, and you are winning a battle that realization does not even exist about. You are supposed to need closure, you are supposed to require the last word, you are supposed to demand answers for everything that happened. That is what people do when relationships end. That is what happens when betrayal occurs. That is the expected pattern when hurt is experienced. But you did none of that. You simply disappeared into silence, and that breaks every rule they thought governed human interaction. The audacity is that you treated them like they were irrelevant, not in a loud dramatic way, not with grand gestures or public announcements, but with complete and total absence, no final confrontation, no detailed explanation, no itemized list of grievances, just silence, and that silence communicated something more powerful than any words could have. It said, you are not worth my energy anymore. It said, nothing you can say will change my decision. It said, I have moved on, and you should do the same. But here is what really makes it audacious. You did not ask for permission to go silent. You did not give warning. You did not negotiate terms. You simply exercised your right to remove yourself from a situation that no longer served you. And in doing so, you demonstrated a level of self-respect that made others uncomfortable, because if you can walk away from them without explanation, what does that say about how much power they actually had? What does that reveal about how necessary they truly were? What does that expose about the dynamic that existed? Your silence is audacious because it refuses to play by the rules of engagement that toxic people rely on. These people need you to fight with them so they can paint you as aggressive. These people need you to defend yourself so they can poke holes in your defense. These people need you to stay engaged so they can continue the cycle. Your refusal to participate in any of that is the ultimate power move. You are not fighting them. You are not defending yourself. You are not engaging at all. You have simply removed yourself from the arena, and that is something they have no counter for. And here is the most audacious part of all. You are thriving. You are not just surviving the loss of these relationships. You are actually doing better without them. Your peace has increased. Your clarity has sharpened. Your progress has accelerated. And watching that happen from a distance while being completely unable to interfere is driving them absolutely insane. The audacity is not just that you left. The audacity is that you left and immediately started winning. This is what they cannot forgive. This is what keeps them up at night. This is what makes the anger burn so hot. You were supposed to struggle without them. You were supposed to come crawling back. You were supposed to realize you made a mistake. But none of that happened. Instead, you stepped into a version of yourself that is more powerful, more focused, and more aligned than ever before, and your silence is the wall that keeps them from accessing any of it. The spiritual earthquake I told you about at the beginning. You are not just standing at the epicenter, you caused it. Your decision to stop explaining yourself shifted the entire landscape. Your choice to walk away without justification cracked foundations that seemed permanent. Your refusal to engage dismantled systems that seemed unbreakable. And now the ground is still shaking. Now the dust is still settling. And when everything finally clears, you are going to be standing on higher ground while others are still trapped in the rubble of structures built on the expectation of your continued participation. This is what it means to be chosen. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You do not need explanation. You move when the divine moves you. You speak when the divine speaks through you. You build when the divine provides the blueprint. And you remain silent when silence is the most powerful statement you can make. The audacity seen in you is not arrogance. The audacity seen in you is divine confidence. The audacity seen in you is spiritual authority. The audacity seen in you is the evidence that you finally understand who you are and whose you are. And that understanding makes you untouchable by people who only had power when you did not know your own. So walk in this, own this, breathe this. You are chosen, you are covered, you are climbing, and your silence is the sound of destiny being built in secret until the moment of public manifestation. Stay silent, stay strong, stay the course. Everything you walked away from is about to make sense. Everything you refused to explain is about to be vindicated. Everything you built in silence is about to be revealed. And the people who are angry about your silence today will be witnesses to your elevation tomorrow, whether wanting to be or not. This is your time, and nobody can stop what the divine already set in motion the moment you had the audacity to stop explaining yourself to people who never had the authority to judge you in the first